Hello and a very warm welcome to this weekend's episode of Out and About. For the last 75 years, India has blossomed and boomed as a country in a number of industries. However, think tanks are already getting together to map out what the next 75 years and more holds in store for the country. So without further ado, let's head to the London Chamber of Commerce and Industry for a very special panel discussion to talk about just that.
Thank you all very much indeed for coming. My name is Richard. I'm the Chief Executive of the London Chamber of Commerce, and you are here in the London Chamber of Commerce. We are the chamber for the whole of London, the 32 boroughs and the city. We cover a city with 880,000 separate businesses, and in this square mile alone, as my colleague and friend Prem will tell you, there are 22,000 businesses within this square mile, which is basically the beating heart of London as a global city. And our job is to reflect London as that global city. And by global city, I mean a city whose services and engagement is not just in the economy of their own country, but actually plays a role in other countries almost as if it was a domestic resource in those other countries. One that deploys its skills, its expertise, and particularly its capital around the world. This city thrives because of an international and global world. It thrives because it has connections with countries who value international trade, and it thrives because it's part of a community of liberal democracies. And the word I use, liberal, there, of course, is in the British sense rather than the American sense. And of course, that means that our partnership and relationship from this city with India is intensely profound, not just simply because we've shared a chunk of our mutual histories together, but we also have to recognise that most of us alive now do not remember that time or weren't alive when that history was being shared. So it's something we've inherited. It's part of our shared inheritance, but not part of our life experience. Well, the benefits of meetings like this are, like all meetings like this, we are a chamber of commerce, and the chamber is a big room where businesses meet and do business. So ultimately, this sort of meeting is precisely at the heart of why we exist, which is to enable business-to-business contact, to create wealth, to create prosperity, and to share it between countries which are like-minded.
A warm welcome to everybody who's here this evening. Richard and I have known each other for a long, long time, and he very kindly suggested that when we heard Mr. J. Chaudhary, who is leading this delegation, those who don't know Mr. Chaudhary, he's a former cabinet minister from India, advisor to various governments, but when we talk of technology and software parks in India, he's sort of known as the father of all those sort of software parks, started it, but more importantly, as an evangelist for startups. So the startup ecosystem in India is huge, so is it in the UK, but it is felt that more can be done. So last year, I think, was the inaugural Indian Startup Festival, and he's kindly included Sheshadri and myself as co-founders for that. And we were delighted to host an event at the House of Lords earlier this week, and this is in continuation of that. And we invite everybody to come to India and be part of that festival. Indeed, Richard has very kindly agreed to come, and we would actually have a panel discussion after this. India has just completed 75 years last year, but more to come and better days to come. And so as UK just come out of Brexit and things are happening, and geopolitically things are evolving, changing as we speak. So as India is looking forward to its 100 years in 2347, I think time to look ahead. As you would recall, you were there, we were at the House of Lords 2 days ago, where Minister Paul Scully was there, and several members of the European Parliament, UK Parliament, and several members of House of Lords and other important dignitaries are participating, because we have a delegation where I'm the co-founder for the Indian Startup Festival. And startups are a key part of the ecosystem. And India and UK are having a very robust ecosystem for startups. So we are creating an alliance of like-minded stakeholders to give startups and scale-ups a boost. And that is the whole intention, where we have Mr. J. Chaudhary here, who's a former sort of patron and the founder of a lot of the startup ecosystem in India. And that is why the London Chamber today, Richard Burge, the CEO, is hosting this reception. We also have a panel discussion where India has already completed 75 years of its fantastic existence last year, but is looking ahead what is going to happen when it is 100 years for India, and India will be on the top table. So that is the whole idea, where we want to showcase what's happening in India, how the partnership with India and UK can build up, and there is already a free trade agreement which is hopefully going to be signed soon. So I think the global landscape will change with these two powerhouses coming together and looking for the future.
Basically, what we want to do is the London Chamber of Commerce for Industry, they have many members of London Chambers. They are already into global business, particularly European connect is very, very high with them. And we want to connect our startup ecosystem in India with them so that together they'll be able to make a global business opportunity. As I was telling earlier also, connection to the market is very, very important. That's where we see London Chambers of Commerce with lots of the members, the already established players in Europe and also maybe in US, and whereas the startup companies who are just came out of their product development and they don't know where to sell their product or service. And we want to connect, it's kind of a bridge, what we are trying to provide through the India Startup Festival. We want to connect them with a bridge. So basically, I want to thank all of you for gracing this event. And I came here to really, in fact, in Indian Sanatana Dharma, there's one word which is very, very relevant at this point of time. See, all of your business people, business doesn't have any borders, right? If you have a product here, product can be sold all over the globe. And the entrepreneur can be here, but his customers can be anywhere in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever. So in India, thousands of years back, they mentioned this in our Vedic literature, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. Because I am in India, I am only Indian. They believed that time itself is not like that. I mean, everybody is one family. Another important mention they made is whenever they do any ritual, the Homa, fire rituals and all that, they mention this Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. That means not just only my family should be happy, everybody should be happy, everybody should be prosperous. So these are the kind of ethos that India has been doing all these years. And now the time has come for all of us as one family. Just because one war going on between two countries, why people have to suffer everywhere? Why some countries have to be in recession and a lot of poor people may be impacted? But somewhere, some people like us, we have to find a solution, right? We can't blame politicians because of X, all these things happening, because of why these things happening. But all of us are intelligent people. We can always, entrepreneurs always, there is a problem, entrepreneurs will go there and solve the problem, and he makes money out of that. So when we are thinking in that model, so every problem is an opportunity for all of us to work on it and see that we find a solution.
Well, I think we have a shared history, but we must remember that most of us who are alive now have no memory of that shared history. We've always been in our lifetimes independent countries with the ability of working together or not as we choose. But I think the things that bind us are being part of a liberal democratic world, a belief in free trade and in the value of enterprise and hard work, the value of education, and actually working together as communities. And the other thing is, of course, that we in Britain have a huge part of our population are people of Indian heritage, and that just strengthens the ties enormously.
Most important thing is a lot of people in India, particularly the youngsters who have some ideas, they don't know how to take this idea forward. And for them, some mentors are required. These people, they are global business people. They can provide that mentorship, and with that mentorship and hand-holding, these budding entrepreneurs, particularly from the rural areas, I am seeing a lot of rural startup companies are coming up with great ideas, and they're developing the products. There are investors who are investing in them. But problem comes, they're not able to take it forward. That's where the mentorship also is going to help. And we are glad that the London Chambers of Commerce, some of them have already agreed to mentor them and take them to the global markets. That is the main objective of why we are here.
Richard has agreed to sign an MOU on behalf of the Chamber with IFIN Global, S Global, and indeed the ISF.
Time for a very short break, but we'll see you again in part 2.